Happy Tuesday, baby. It was a wild day. I took a total of 12 trades. No, I'm just kidding. I took 0 trades today. Price action was kind of spotty. I didn't really have a confident draw on liquidity, so I was not going to try to force my hand today. Again, I'm trying to build that discipline. I'm trying to take less trades in general. I'm trying to stop forcing these little shitters. So going into the day, looking at the 15-minute time frame here, the first thing I marked up was this 15-minute gap, and I was looking for this to act as support and take us to yesterday's highs. So this was my trade idea going into the day, but that quickly sort of went away just because, let me show you real quick. So I was watching this 15 minute was supporting price, but if you look at this collection of candles here, this to me just looks relatively choppy. Like we're not getting many big candles. Price isn't moving around a whole lot. It's not that volatile. And I was watching this on the 2. So again, our entry model is the inverse fair value gap. So I was waiting for us to inverse this fair value gap, but we never got a sweep of these lows. So price never came down to take this low. And that's what I would have liked to see. But rather than taking that low, we just got close and basically just put in a group of relative equal lows. So at this point, I didn't have a confident draw on liquidity. I didn't want to try to force my hand. And again, we were sort of just chopping around. Like this isn't the cleanest price action, especially looking at it on the 1. So I was sort of stuck between 2 liquidity pools and just decided to wait to see what price would do. And as soon as we closed below this 15-minute fair value gap here, I decided that I was going to switch my bias to... Is my camera turning around here? I decided that I was going to switch my bias to being bearish on the day just because we closed below this 15-minute, we closed below this 15-minute. So both of these bullish fair value gaps on the 15 got closed below. Both of these failed. So this to me meant that price was probably going to want to run lower. So I switched my bias to bearish. Still hadn't taken a trade at this point. And the 15-minute candle closed right here. So it closed at 10:15. We closed below this 15-minute fair value gap. And at this point, I start looking for shorts. I had a couple of targets lined up. So I was looking at these lows here, and I was looking at yesterday's London lows. There wasn't a lot of amazing targets, to be honest, but this was the first target for me here because these lows are pretty obvious. Again, looking at it on the 5, these lows just sort of pop out at you. So this was a great liquidity pool, good first target. So again, hop back onto the 1. And we never got an entry. This would have been the first target there. Let me just clear the screen. This is a lot. So we never got an entry. Closed below the 15 up here. We sort of chopped around. You could say that this is, some sort of bear flag if you trade these patterns. Never got an entry. Our entry is the inverse fair value gap, and then price decided to take an absolute shite. Dropped about 200 to 300 points. I want to say 300 points. So it dropped about 300 points. And once price drops that aggressively, it's very rare that you'll see price drop 300 points and then reverse and take that move back. Maybe, you might see price dropping 100 points and then taking that move back, but it's very rare that you'll see a drop like this. A lot of the time when price drops 200 or 300 points, after that move, you'll get a lot of consolidation. Price will just try to digest that drop and sort of just taper off for a little bit. So trading after a massive drop just make for very sloppy conditions, and that's sort of what we're seeing here. So as soon as we finished dropping and started consolidating, I saw a couple of trade opportunities, but I decided to sit on my hands just because I've seen this so many times before. So you could have argued that this was a decent trade as we inverse this gap. It was resistance at first, and then we closed above. But again, I decided not to take it just because it's sloppy conditions, man. We just dropped 300 points. There's no point to try to force trades after we got the move of the day. This was the move. So if you caught that, good for you. I didn't. I didn't really have any FOMO. I wasn't too salty about missing it just because I didn't see my entry model. So that's okay. I'm not going to trade. But again, you can see that price is just sort of chopping around. You could argue that, you could have taken this short here if you wanted a continuation lower. But again, there's just no point to try to force your hand after getting such a big drop. So I'm just going to watch price for now. I'm not going to trade for the day. And yeah, this, obviously we didn't make any profits on the funded account, but this is still a win in my book. I know a lot of people would get burnt on days like this. I know I would have got burnt in the past on days like this. So the fact that I can just casually sit here for 2 hours and watch price unfold without me and feel no ways about it is a big win in my books. That means that I'm getting more disciplined. And yeah, I'm happy with the day. I'm happy with the day and I'm excited for tomorrow. So we'll see what Wednesday brings for us.